We all know Deadpool. He's the classic fourth wall breaking, katana wielding mutant, loved by basically everyone. In fact, while I was editing this video, the teaser just dropped for the next Deadpool movie. So, I was wondering, how would Deadpool manage in the world of Skyrim? Today I'm here to answer the question, can you beat Skyrim as Deadpool? Starting off, I spent all of 0.5 seconds making my character have the same hair as Ryan Reynolds, and that was about it. But I mean, can you even tell the difference? I guarantee none of you even noticed that I just faded from a picture of my character to Ryan. Next, I set up my class. I chose the Lover Stone for lore accuracy, yes. Then I began creating my actual class. I chose combat specification, of course. Then health, because Deadpool can't die. As for skills, I went with one-handed, because Deadpool always uses one-handed katanas. After that, I chose light armor, because that's what I'd be using as Deadpool just wears his suit and not any actual armor. Next, I chose speech for, hopefully, obvious reasons.
Well, that's so bad guys can't see me bleed. This guy's got the right idea. He wore the brown pants.
Then, I went with sneak, because I just needed to fill the slots and wasn't going to use it. I chose restoration because of his ability to regenerate. And finally, I went with two-handed, because I was going to make a funny joke, but I'll let the senile scribbles do it for me.
And you might want to get a better helm, too. The one you got there is ancient, from the Oblivion days.
Well, you know, I'm working on it.
I'd give you mine, but it's got a two-handed wielding enchant, so...
Two-handed wielding? Can you even lift a greatsword?
Greatsword? Well, I've never tried. Just helps me when I tinkle. Besides, only a fucking asshole would wear something like this.
Now we begin the long cart ride into Helgen. I spent the next 5 minutes listening to these lot talk among themselves, but I won't subject you all to watching this whole thing for the 500th time. As always, we weren't on the list, but got told to go fuck ourselves anyway. That one Imperial captain really nearly caused the end of the world. So, onto the chopping block we go. Anyone else ever noticed the executioner is blind in one eye? Makes a lot of sense considering he didn't see a whole ass dragon behind him. But yeah, dragon attacks, we escape, you guys know the drill. I entered the keep with Rayloff, not because I agree with the Stormcloaks, but simply because Imperial armor would sell for more once I got out. Since I didn't have my katanas yet, I was forced to use my fists. Not the most effective, but it got the job done. From here, I killed a torturer, lockpicked a cage, slapped up some more Imperial soldiers, killed some spiders, and got the hell out of there. Finally in Riverwood, I checked the smith menu, and it turned out I needed a higher smith skill if I was going to make these katanas. So, I began walking to Whiterun to get XP, and start getting some of the main quests done. This guard wouldn't let me in, but then I let him know I am in fact Ryan Reynolds, and he let me in with no questions asked. Discovering Whiterun was actually all I needed to level up, and I got the perk I needed. So after buying all the materials I needed, I was able to make my first katana. It actually looks really nice. The mod author did an amazing job with these models. I finally went to have a chat with the Jarl of Whiterun. He basically said, hey, that's cool of you for doing something for me. Now go do another thing for me because you're the errand boy. Spoke to Farengar, and now I was off to Bleak Falls. Finally arriving at the barrow, and I had my first chance to test out the katana. I wasn't at full Deadpool power yet, because I only had one, but for some bandits, it was enough. In the barrow I saw some strange things, like this bandit that killed himself. Like, me too bro, me too. Then there was this massive ass spider that really didn't appreciate me being there. And this weird fucker, who clearly wasn't swift enough. I found the claw, and carried on through the barrow. I'd quickly got the claw wall done. I got spoken to by a glowing wall, and killed the Overlord and took the damn Dragonstone. I returned to Whiterun and gave the Dragonstone to Farengar. And now all of a sudden we're off to go kill a dragon. You know, normal everyday activities. I had something more important to do first though. Make myself the second katana. Now I really felt like Deadpool. Well, Something was missing, but we'll come back to that later, I promise. As for now, we have a dragon to kill. I made my way over to the watchtower, and it was completely destroyed. As for actually fighting the dragon, I didn't have any ranged weapons, so it was basically just me sitting in the watchtower until the guards got it down to half health, and it landed. I was the one to get the killing blow though, so who's really the hero here? I found out I'm Dragonborn, so I guess that answers the question, doesn't it? I told the Jarl we killed the dragon and that I had absorbed its soul, and he went on some sort of nostalgia trip and told me to go talk to some hermits on a mountain. So I began my trek up the not actually 7,000 steps. I came to the area where the frost troll was, but for once I was going to fight him. You see, I'd crafted the other part of Deadpool's arsenal. Made it to High Hrothgar, and spoke to the only one of these hermits who can actually speak English. Then he just told me to yell at him. They then got me to read another one of these glowing words. Apparently, that made me stronger now. So after reading another one of these glowing words, and yelling a little more, I was done with my training all of a sudden. They then told me to go and get a horn from an old tomb called Ustingrav, so I guess that's where I was going next. But plot twist, the horn's been stolen. Who on earth could have seen this coming? Apparently I have to now go and rent the attic room in the Sleeping Giant Inn in Riverwood. Fun. It was Delphine the barkeep that had stolen the horn. She couldn't believe her eyes when she saw Ryan Reynolds was filming his next movie here in Skyrim. All jokes aside, she told me I had to go kill another dragon, because she didn't believe me. I hate Delphine. After arriving at Kynesgrove, I saw Alduin casually just resurrecting his old buddy. I decided I'd take away half his health, before he even got his skin back. We killed the dragon, and proved to Delphine I was Dragonborn, as if I had shit to prove to her. She then proceeded to tell me the dragons were the Thalmor's fault. Is she blind? Did she not see Alduin resurrect the dragon? You'd think, as a member of the Blades that's all about how they used to kill dragons, she'd be able to recognise the literal lord and ruler of them. I continue to hate Delphine. Now she's got me going on a wild goose chase to a party at the Thalmor embassy. I put on my party clothes, and reluctantly got in the carriage. Once at the party, I used an amazing manoeuvre called bribing an alcoholic. After he causes a scene, I slip away with Malborn and continue my way through the embassy. I grab some dossiers from Elwyn's private quarters, kill some Thalmor along the way, and pick up the last dossier and get out. Once I bring this information to Delphine, she sends me to find another bloody hermit. This time, down in the Ratway in Riften. In the Ratway, I did many interesting things, such as killing some homeless people. I also got the opportunity to slice up the Thalmor again. I found Esbern down in the warrens of the Ratway. He locked himself behind a door with about 70 locks. After telling him I knew Delphine, he let me straight in, as if the Thalmor didn't have a full dossier on her, and couldn't have said that too. He gave me a big end-of-the-world type speech, but then I reminded him, I'm Ryan Reynolds. I was destined to do whatever I wanted, and that included killing Alduin. After getting back to Riverwood, Esmond decided the only thing that he does is make speeches, and gave us one about an old temple in the Reach that contained Alduin's wall. So, we set off in search of this shithole. A dragon attacked us along the way. I decided to show him that not even a dragon hide could stop a bullet. Once inside the temple, I completed the puzzles clearly designed to keep all the 6-year-olds out. I then had to slice my hand open for the blood seal, because apparently this thing can detect different bloods, and was needed to open the door. Now, while Esbern was rambling on about pictures on the wall, I found the Holy Grail. 2 Blades pistols. I now had dual katanas and dual pistols. I was at full Deadpool potential. At least without installing mods to make me ridiculously overpowered and stop this from being a challenge, of course. I now had to find the shout's Dragon Rend. So I finally remembered the Greybeards exist, and went back to return the horn. They just kind of yelled at me a bunch, but I'm guessing this means I did well. After this whole thing, I asked Arngeir about Dragon Rend. He told me none of them knew it, and none of them wanted to know it. But there was this guy chilling at the top of the mountain who might be able to help me. So I read a little more, yelled a little more, and began making my way up the rest of the mountain. Got to the top and had a chat with Parthenax, pretty chill dragon and leader of the Greybeards. He told me he can't help either. Everyone in this place is actually useless. He tells me to go find an Elder Scroll, just as you do. After once again using my Ryan Reynolds influence, I managed to get into the College of Winterhold. The guy at the library bought me out some books on Elder Scrolls. I asked about one of them, and next thing I knew, I was walking around the northern ice fields for Septimus's outpost. After finding Septimus and having a long conversation made up of about 3 coherent sentences, he gave me a sphere and a lexicon, and told me to go to Athland. Now, in case any of you don't know, I absolutely hate this dungeon. It's annoyingly long, I don't enjoy Dwarven Ruins as much as it is anyway, and, well, there's Blackreach. I'll touch more on Blackreach later. Oh, yeah, and there's the Fulmer. They get annoying as hell after a while. I mean, just look how hellbent this one was on killing me. He is holding that bow for dear life. I did get to shoot a Dwarven Centurion though. That was quite fun, I won't lie. Finally, we make it to Blackreach. This place sucks. It was cool the first time, and it is very unique. But it's impossible to see. It's full of Fulmer every 2 seconds. You have no sense of where anything is in relation to anything else, and I'm not even going to mention the Crimson Nirnroot quest. So, basically, I hate this place. I ran straight through it, ignored everything, and just went straight to the tower. Now I have to do the pathetic excuse for a puzzle Bethesda put in. You just press buttons randomly until you get it right. Not really anything else to say, it's pretty boring. But finally, after all that, I had the Elder Scroll, and could get the hell out of there and get on with the actual story. Made my way back to the throat of the world, went into the time ripple thing, read the scroll, and got shown the only other cutscene of the game, other than the cart ride in Helgen. This one it's just as boring though, we all know it. Anyway, learned the shout from those old Nord guys. Alduin showed up because Bethesda needs some dramatic timing, I guess. And I showed Alduin the power of modern weaponry. He then of course ran away to go eat some more souls, because they couldn't let us win this easily. Now all we had to do was ask the Jarl of Whiterun to trap a dragon in his palace. You know, that one that's designed for it. While also being half made of wood. I promise, I'll stop bashing Skyrim's story at some point. I just think it's quite funny to point some of these things out. Anyway, the Jarl says he'll do it if there's a truce in the war for a bit while we do it, as to not weaken his city and give either side an easy opportunity. So, I asked Arngeir to host a peace council at High Hrothgar. He basically told me to fuck off at first. When I told him it's the only way to stop Alduin, he did reluctantly agree. So I sat down at the table and watched the chaos unfold. I didn't exactly care who got what from this. I just wanted to end the torch that was playing Skyrim's main questline. So, after that was over, Esben told me the name of a dragon, and we were all set to get on with this plan. I called him, and then used Dragonrend to force him to land on the balcony. From here, he had no choice but to proceed further forward. Eventually, he was right under the trap, and the guard pulled the chain. Had a talk with the dragon, and basically, I'd have to fly on his back to reach Alduin's port to Sovngarde. And we've made it to Skuldafn, the most disappointing dungeon in the entire game. It's the final dungeon you clear before finally facing Alduin. Like, the one before this had Blackreach, and while that arguably failed, at least it tried to be different. This one, on the other hand, is literally just a standard Nordic ruin. The most unique part is you fight some dragons. It's still got the standard pillar turning puzzle and the claw door like every other ruin in the game. Like, it's not awful, I don't hate this place. It's just really underwhelming as a final dungeon. Anyway, I sped past the Dragon Priest because I'm lazy and had already been recording for like 6 hours straight. Give me a break. Before getting into the Hall of Valor, I had to fight this guy, who for some reason is a solid 8 foot tall on a bad day. He found me worthy. Have no idea how. I've been cheesing my way through this entire run by spamming dual wield power attacks. After a quick speech from these guys, it was time to face Alduin once again. Don't question why there's 2 of them. All that was left now was to yell a couple times again to get rid of the mist. Now, I'm sure you were hoping for some epic battle for the ending. Sorry to disappoint you. I literally just used a Dragon Wrench shout and then shot him a couple times. Alduin is just a bit of a pathetic boss, to be honest. There's not really much else to say. So, there you have it. The answer is yes, you can beat Skyrim as Deadpool. Extremely easily too, if you use the gun mod I did. All in all, I had fun, and this is actually the first time I properly used dual wielding ever in my life, and it was much better than I thought it was. With that, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Make sure to like the video and sub to the channel. I'll see you in the next one.